to Love, Season 5, Episode 10, True Colors. And I have anxiety.
Oh my gosh. My heart still hurts.
Oh my God, I'm having a hard time, Gus. Oh,
I was
that episode was
triggered.
triggering. Oh God.
Yeah. Was everybody else triggered? Everybody else that watched it, were you just as triggered as we were? Have you experienced that type of triggering situation before? I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of them, but still, like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like you. I low-key still have anxiety. So there's that. So we have a lot to talk about. I mean, this show was jam-packed. I was like, we were so hyped last night. We had to talk on the phone. We were like, forget waiting for the show. What the heck is going on? Talk about some True Colors. Like, I can't. There's a lot that needs to be addressed. Yeah. Are you ready?
I'll let you start today.
All right, y'all. What up? What up? Let's do this. Season 5, Episode 10 of Ready to Love. True Colors. We can go from start to finish if you'd like. And let's start the show where we left off with your perfectly accurate predictions that you gave last week. We opened the show with Corn and Camille. Now, I know you weren't surprised that he was one. I felt like I knew he was going to get cut too. But what did you think about that conversation and all? We know Camille is expressive with all her faces, but Corn had a lot of faces going on when Camille was talking. I don't know. How'd you feel about how he received his cut?
I feel like maybe, when you hang out with somebody a lot, you end up kind of turning into, hey, what's up, B? You turn into that person a little bit. You kind of start to emulate their characteristics. And I don't think it's a good look on Cornelius to be emulating Camille. Doesn't help his cause already for whatever he's already doing. But it's just really shocking to me that he still he doesn't get it. Like, he doesn't understand. It's good TV.
I mean, when she was like, I'm self-eliminating, his face was like he was very much like, girl, what you doing that for? And then he also shared that his biggest regret was that he didn't make more connections. Additionally, when she said, hopefully we come back for the reunion and we're married with babies, he looked at her like she lost every bit of her mind. My thoughts exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's all I have to say. I mean, none of it makes sense. I mean, time and time again, we just see people wanting something to work that just doesn't, and just ignoring all the red flags. And they both are ignoring the red flags. Because they're caught up in the idea, right? They seem to check off a lot of each other's boxes, right? But the main boxes that really need to be checked off, like the needs are still left blank. There's no check in those. The wants, the nuances, those are checked. The smaller things, but like in the grand scheme of it, those big boxes are not checked, and they're still in denial about it, which is fitting that they went home, and because they're not ready to love. And it's pretty obvious they're not ready to even love each other. I'm just rambling right now because I'm just trying to wrap my head around all of it. Like, how does she keep pursuing somebody that just really doesn't know himself? And she just has this idea of who she wants him to be and who he thinks he's supposed to be. And then when he fits in the box of what she wants, he then still looks at her cross-eyed and crooked eye like, wait, what are you talking about? It feels so put on, unorganic, and wrong. I'm just going to be blunt.
Yeah, no, it is really wrong. And for him to still be so undecided, but for her to be so super decided is just kind of like, I'm sorry, as a person who wants to be in a relationship and do things and move forward, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would have had to go ahead and let him go a little while ago and give him some chase. What would have been so bad about giving him some chase? Like, if you chose him, okay, cool. Let off the gas a little bit and give him some space to actually be into you. It's like there's a balance, there's a dance, there's a fine line that I'm not getting from Camille at all. She's just like, like she's got a lockjaw on this man, and he's kind of like, oh.
It's very fitting to her patterns that she's been speaking about, and it makes sense to why she keeps walking away. Is because she forces situations to work, and she's smart. So then she finally comes to terms with the fact that she's trying to control things, and then she ends up walking away. And she tends to, sounds like to me, probably, I don't know these other guys that she was engaged to, but she tends to probably go towards guys that are bending her will and easy for her to overpower, so that they just keep in the illusion with her, and then they have a wake-up call when she has a wake-up call, and it's a little too late for everybody.
You perfectly said. And at 42, I believe it says she was 42. Like, we're not doing that anymore. So again, I'm really hoping, I'm glad they're gone. I think that made all of the sense. I guess I have to say I do low key honor her decision to self-eliminate. There's no need to keep herself in the game and get more camera time with other unnecessary dates and conversations and Brown's Girl God Squad kicking it. None of it was necessary. I'm proud of her for doing what she felt was best. Done.
Absolutely. Good for her. I mean, we called it last week, right? And
you did. Nailed it.
Why was she even going to stay, though? And why did Cornelius think, oh, I should have maybe tried other... How? And no one was into you. No one else there was into you, and you weren't into anybody else. You're not into any of them. We know. We can tell. We can tell. But hooray for you trying to put on good TV and trying to bend to the narrative of which this was a developed character for you to play into. You still need to do some background work on your character development. But other than that, like, hey, you had a good run. I hope you learned a lot, and run as fast as you can. Unfortunately, I'm seeing comments on all these little sites saying that they're still having lunch and hanging out. I'm a little concerned. Concerned.
Well, I was going to say part of this at the end, but if we really want to, we got some fun stuff in here. I came across a little bit of this.
The fuck is that? Why does it look so fake? Why does it look so posed and fake?
I came across this on the internet.
Is that her?
Well, that was fast. It just cut. Wow. Oh, well, yes.
What people will do just to keep pushing a narrative. Good for them.
So... I don't know what's happening, but apparently photo shoots and tattoos is what I just saw. But done and done. Goodbye. Y'all knock yourself out. It was fun.
Yep. And you know what? Deuces. We all have those people in our life too, where you are just looking at them and you're like watching the train go to its demise and wreck in front of everybody's eyes. And you see how the brakes don't work and how the wheels aren't even on the track, and the cabooses aren't even fitting. Like, they're not even clicked in together. They're just following each other because of the momentum that they've created, which is hazardous.
There's going to be a lot of I told you so after this.
Everyone just watches it and it keeps going. And then I guess it's the one where you just keep watching it a little. You're like, damn, it's still going? Boom. Oh,
okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Right,
I hope you're safe and sound. I hope you're okay. Great. You woke up? Perfect.
Good morning. Guys. Yeah. Okay. Moving along,
moving
people.
On, yeah. I can't. Sorry, I don't have anything to say with it. Yeah.
No. Yeah. I want them to move right along. You know what I'm saying? But so that's all good. We're done. I'm sure when the show ends, we'll see more on the gram about it. So the next date up is Phil and Shiloh at the house.
When I saw them together
Shiloh at the house.
When I saw Phil and Shiloh at the house, I thought it was like a projection into the future, and they were like, we're married now, we have kids, welcome to our home. Like,
we're cooking,
we're cooking. Yeah. It had that really effortless ease. Now they also seemed like a couple that maybe had a disagreement, and you could feel that little bit of tension, but it just seemed like maybe it was one of those days we got to sit down and have a discussion about how my day wasn't so good, and we can get back to it. So I was not expecting that discussion to go the way that it did, though.
The discussion, the way it went in the date, because what I was glad to see them together. It made me, I can feel Shiloh's reservation. I felt like before she was much more open. She was the intimacy coach. She was having fun, but there's something about her in this date that's a little bit nervous. And you're right. I am getting that undertone of couple that's doing so well. They might have had a little argument earlier, but they still love each other, trying to figure out. And Phil kind of alluded to that. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but he did talk about bumps in the road, which, you know, hopefully after the show unfolds, we get to learn a little bit more about that. But he said in the confessional during that date that he was dissipating his energy and it was making it hard for him to be there for Shiloh. So that's why he was intentionally like, let me give her some time. And yeah, boo, that's what happens. Like, regardless if you're a guy, a girl, a player, or not looking for love or not, if you are putting energy into other people emotionally, physically, dates and all that, you are dissipating energy. That's just natural human energy. You know what I'm saying? So I like that she had the question cards and stuff like that. But like, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I don't know.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised at how badly he's handling the situation.
It's pretty bad. He's not doing a good job at all, to be honest.
I really expected so much more from Phil. I was rooting for him if he didn't work out with these girls to reach out to you. But after watching this, he wouldn't pass my test. And just from this moment, not to jump too far ahead, it was just, I don't know how not to jump ahead. I'm just going to talk.
Yeah, no, go, please. There's no constraint here.
You know, Shiloh is so intuitive.
I was just going to say that.
She could feel it happening. And it is so admirable the way that she moved accordingly, even still knowing what the outcome could and would be. She still had so much grace. She still moved through it so calmly. And to bring out that card game, to try to have him open up, which is what his ex talked about, lack of communication.
Yep.
Shiloh has all the tools. Shiloh is that woman that you don't get rid of because she's ready and she's worth it and she's capable above and beyond. And you know, when a guy like Phil, who seems like a good guy and everybody's kind of jocking after, isn't ready, he will mess up something that is great for him right in front of his face. And obviously that happens, it feels like, at least from what we gathered in this episode. When she tried to open him up and break him down, just be a little more intimate, his walls came up more than I've seen in the show this whole time. He came up, he was like,
his walls gave me, I mean, when I talk about anxiety, it gave me so much anxiety. And this is why. Like, I just got out of a situation where I got my heart broken, okay? And in retrospect, I could feel when it's like, okay, I'm open and I'm here and I'm in bed, but there's something that is not being received. And when a man does not... And reciprocated, it's an energetic thing, but sometimes we can't see it. And let me pinpoint exactly where we see it, but we can't see it. And listen, Shiloh, she said, I choose you. I want to see more open affection and all these things. You're the guy I choose. And he leans in real quick for a kiss. To the naked eye, we might think, oh my God, that's cute. He's affirming her. But she even was like, that was so quick. Why did you do that so quick? And then in her confessional, she was like, well, maybe this was a sign that he is into me and showing more public displays. So do you see the juxtaposition and the understanding when you want to be caring, you want to be open, you want to be understanding, you want to give people grace, and you want to be available? But something in her was like, why did he do that so fast? And like she said, he never answered the question. And I remember getting a lot of that. It's like, you're not being direct. And there's something here because you know you cannot lean into all of this love over here, because in the back of your mind, and just like Phil said in the confessional, you're like, yeah, this has been my strongest connection, but that's too many buts for me.
Oh yeah, and Shiloh was so in tune, like we said. She's probably like us. She's going to give someone so much more the benefit of the doubt than they deserve. She's going to see their potential at its fullest capacity.
Oh God,
and she sees what he's capable of and the potential he's bound to fulfill one day, willing that he actually ventures there and gets past his own shit. But Shiloh also still did what the best of us still do, and you lean in on that. And in any situation, potential isn't enough.
Nope.
It's
and you
not
can't
enough.
give the benefit of the doubt of somebody whose words and actions are not lining up.
And someone like Shiloh is going to see past it and see through him. and he's not going to be able to handle that, and that's actually going to trigger him more, and that's why he's pulling back. He's being seen and he's feeling it, and he's not emotionally intelligent enough to dive into it and further dissect why this is happening. He's going to do what he just did, is back off, make excuses, and go after something else that's not available. And that happens so much with boys.
Oh my God.
Love to do so that triggered. Shit. They love to have something so great and wonderful in front of them that will benefit them in every single way, and then say, I don't want that. I want something that's not available. Let me go over there. Boys do that shit all the time.
It's so frustrating.
You know, there's nothing greater than a man stepping into his man shoes and seeing and acknowledging what's in front of you and stepping
they make decisions
into it, because you're making a choice. You're making a choice, a conscious choice, to actually be ready for love, to want love, and see that this person that is so great, like Shiloh is, embrace that. Shiloh's the best thing that Phil could get at this point. Like, I don't know if he's ever been able to be blessed with such a beautiful situation. He's showing that he is not ready.
He's not ready.
And, you know, Phil's human. I get it. I'm not talking shit on Phil, but I was very disappointed. I felt like his ego got the best of him when he got all the dates, when everyone wanted a piece of Phil. I think he started to see himself outside of himself, and the ego took over a little too much. And then he started to want to dance and try to do this juxtaposition between all these other things, instead of listening to the growth that he had come on the show for, which was to step into something because he's supposed to be ready. And that was really disheartening, and I was disappointed in him, because I was rooting for him, and I'm still rooting for him, obviously. I think he has all the potential in the world, but like, I've been Shiloh. You've been Shiloh. People like us had been Shiloh.
Absolutely.
And so we gave them grace, and we still ended up with our heart broken. Now, we don't know what happens. We still don't know what's going to go on with them.
Well, by those next episode, the trailer, it's not looking good.
No, it's not. No, it looks horrible. But yeah, I'm
upset.
Yeah, it was triggering. I'm still feeling like
I'm upset.
I still have feelings about it. Like, it still brought up shit in me that I did not want to see and face again, which is really healthy, I think, too.
Absolutely.
But bless Shiloh, bless her. And
I'm just giving her the biggest virtual hug right now. I don't know where she is in life or how she's feeling, but my heart and my soul just is like embracing her for just so all the love, all the comfort, because like, this is that bullshit. Okay.
And then to have the audacity, Phil, to then go after somebody who isn't available, and then to not just go after them, but go above and beyond for them, like you should have gone for Shiloh. You went in for a quick peck with somebody that was willing and able to give you what you're here for.
Because if he would have gave her all that lovey-dovey, it would have been a done deal.
Instead,
and he ain't ready for a done deal.
Want to go
you
to
still
some
want
other
to play
woman
the game.
That has playing somebody else. I mean, trying to has stronger connection to somebody else, and you wanted to play the game and then give more. When he went to kiss Sydney's arm over and over and over again and kept coming in and trying to get his ego fulfilled, it makes my fucking spine tingle.
I'm getting hot. I need to turn my AC up.
Like, you really wanted to do that? You really had to show like where, I mean, I get it. Like, you know.
But do you know what bothered me about that most? And I told you this last night. Is you borrowed Shiloh's energy, 100%. Shiloh's verbiage.
You took all of her shit. And they always do, though. Men like that always do. Boys like that always do. Because then they try to be a man with somebody else, but that's not even authentic.
No, it's not. Because whatever was being brought out of you was brought out of you by the other girl that you're not willing to commit to because you're not ready for love. You still running.
And
oh God, I'm so upset.
Thank God.
I like him.
Yeah, no, it was just triggering. It was just a moment. It was just
because there's so much more to it than what we're seeing. I really, and you know,
and people that understand, they understand. If you haven't been in this situation, you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? They're so sensitive. They're so dramatic. That is not that deep. No, you're just not that in tune with the emotional complexity of what love creates and what it means to be in an intimate relationship. If you don't understand what we're saying right now, read a book or three. because then you'll see what really happens. And that's not a diss, that's just a matter of fact. Like, go read a couple books about self-help, love, and really start to, if you want love, recognize this, because until you understand this, you're going to be like Phil, having something right in front of you and just bouncing and chasing something that isn't available, like a lot of boys do, or
Oh
women,
my
or
God.
girls, I should say. Girls do the same
Women
thing.
too. And what I want to share with
No, girls.
people
That's
watching.
why I didn't say women, because women.
Oh, girls, yes.
Girls.
Yeah, you gotta be. And I appreciate Shiloh for sharing that part. Her intuition like popped her in the face when he leaned forward for that kiss, and she knew it was too quick because he wasn't going to answer the question. That was a red flag. There's nothing you can do with that man, and it seems so small. Oh, and then she changed her story. Maybe he was showing into no. That
I would have done the same thing. I would have.
He just tried to shut you up.
I would have
and not
been like,
answer the
that's
questions.
enough. Oh, that no.
Maybe
he just proved to me
and because
being
he's
stupid,
because he's learning to be vulnerable. Maybe he's just getting there, and he was nervous.
He's showing me. Oh, yep. Why do that? Why do that, Phil? Why? Do you realize how selfish that was? That was all about you.
No,
if you really cared about her, then you wouldn't have kissed her. You would have sat back and told her how you really feel, which is uncertain. Instead, you had to still put your hook in a little deeper while you still had the line out and you weren't even reeling it in. Like,
and knowing that. And
you yanked it
that.
while she's just a yank. That is so selfish. That is so wrong.
So selfish.
So wrong.
Oh, God. Well, Phil, I feel like we just ripped you a complete new one. Please forgive us. We do think that you're an amazing person, but you got to stop that mess, boy.
Well, I mean, he seems like he's a very smart man. I'm sure by watching this show, he's fixed that out. I would assume. So, Phil.
Talk about true colors, right? Do they not nail it with the title every episode?
Yeah. Great writers.
We're going to move on from him for a second.
Phil, we do love you, though.
We do love you. You're amazing.
We're like hurt. We're disappointed because we want the best for you. That's it.
We're like the Shilohs
two parents that you didn't want.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't ask for either.
You didn't ask for us either.
You're welcome.
But hey.
Oh man, and you know what? To be honest, the root of my agitation is love. I want this man to get the love that he deserves. Like, don't y'all know the depths of love that are available to you when you genuinely get uncomfortable? Not when you talk about being uncomfortable, not when you borrow tips about vulnerability and go into another date and share something private, which we'll talk about that later. That's not vulnerability. That's not scary. That's game.
Yep. And what's really vulnerable is actually using those exercises with the person that's giving them to you, that's opening up the door for you to walk through to be vulnerable, not the other person who didn't even open the door for you. Well, at least that door. They opened a different door, but not that door.
Yeah, a very temporary door.
They opened the door of lust. They didn't open the door of intimacy.
Lust.
You know?
We're trying to break habits here, guys. We have to grow past what we're used to. If you feel like I'm unsure, I'm unsure.
If you
you're used to being
unsure, those things.
You need to make a decision. If you're used to feeling unsure, do something different and make a decision and see where that takes you. Doing the same thing is only going to get you the same thing. And I'm really interested to see what Sydney has to say about that. I can't wait to see the next couple of episodes. Because Sydney in her confessional is just like, okay, anyway, we got to talk about Aisha and Dante because I just need a break. I need to get myself back together. Moving right along because you see, I got my candle lit back there. I got the incense going.
Kumbaya.
Now let's talk about kumbaya, okay? Because Dante got that kumbaya. Let me tell you.
He is the way that they are both ignited and glowing off. Like, I'm surprised the camera can even get an image of them because they are so bright and on fire when they're together. Mm-hmm. It's really fun to watch because it is
fun.
Oh, that's delicious. I want what they have.
Yeah.
Like, they are both in it. They are both.
And they balance each other so well.
They really, really do. They look good together. They feel good together. Like, and just like they say, it came out of nowhere. Same. I don't know unless I said that in unless Miss Cleo channeled through me like she has a few times on this show. I don't remember like thinking that, but man, does that work? Who would have thunk? Now, I do still think it's in like the honeymoon phase,
Of course.
but at least they're moving together. I guess the real question is Dante going to pull a Phil? And then when the door is really open, walk out?
I don't get those vibes from Dante, but you know how confused I be.
Well, yeah, I don't get it from him either, but that's
fooled by the
gonna do.
fronts. I'm very fooled by the fronts, okay? So Dante doesn't seem to be the person who would do that. But I guess time will tell. Correct. That's what I'm saying. Because I was raving about Phil. If y'all look back at we was raving about him. I was definitely like Team Phil. I want to see it. He's a gentleman. He's a godfather. He is ready. He is this, that. And then the True Colors episode I had to shower after watching this. I needed a moment.
And once again, I'm going to say, I try to say it every single episode. The fact that you guys on the show are willing to put yourself in this position for all of us to watch while you go through such deep, transformative, emotional chaos and Armageddon, and you're like literally being reborn in front of all of our eyes, or you're dying again, whatever that is, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Just thank you.
Yes, it's all love.
It's all love.
We recognize
but we need something to talk about. So thanks for
exactly. And this is what we talk about in our own personal lives, amongst friends, about ourselves. We be going in. You know, we do read books. We have been in a lot of life-changing relationships. You know, I'm recovering. I feel like I'm pretty, well, you know, going through the heartbreak thing and recovery and learning about self and what it all means. And to be honest, one of the main things I learned and can be appreciative in the pain is breaking a pattern that I was doing. Just because somebody outwardly seems to do you dirty doesn't mean you didn't have any hand in that. So being able to really take accountability because I have done the work, or because you have read the books and honored and prayed and meditated and tried and this and that. When this stuff hits you in the face, you get a chance to look at it in a real way. So that way you can do something different and invite something into your life. I feel like I completely dissipated the energy charge that was attracting what was not for me. Because just like Phil, when it comes to emotional unavailability, I understand, okay? I attract emotionally unavailable men. So there is this thing that I had to discover where it's like, okay, Jay, like how deep are you really willing to go? And that's why I like watching this process. And what is helping me, even women like Sabrina, watching Shiloh have her, I get those intuitions. I get those things that you feel in your gut and your stomach. I get those and I can trust it. And I believe that will be what allows me to remain open and get something else going. Before, I wasn't sure I knew how to trust it. I would have been like, oh, was it this? Was it that? No, girl, it's what you heard and what you saw, and that's okay. Move accordingly. You don't have to block off.
Yeah, I think the reason we have such a poignant discussion about these things is because not only have we immersed ourselves, yes, I sure did hear your name. We've been through this as well, and so when we're not pointing a finger without knowing that there's four pointing right back at us, and it's those four that are pointing back at me that allowed me to see what I see, so I say what I say. And so it's never said with like ignorance and like, why is it this way? And you be doing, no, I see what you're doing. I understand what you're doing from both ways, you know, like when you're on this journey of growth, self-love, that's the only way to obtain it. So
there's no resolution without accountability. So if you're not willing to see yourself, you will get no resolve. You're just going to keep running into the same thing.
You got to hold yourself accountable. You need to use your own discernment, and you need to tend to those discernments, and to that discernment and to that accountability, you need to water it well. And most of the time, it's those tears of your own that waters those so they can grow and blossom into strength. And yeah.
So now that Sabrina's in here, I'm gonna tell you exactly why I brought up the name, girl. Something that you said really stood out to me, and I loved it so much. She was like, so we saw, now we're hopping around, but it's fine because we're going to talk about everybody.
That's okay. We do what we want. This is ours.
We could do what we want. It's ours.
Yeah, it's ours.
So I love the way she's navigating these couple of things and what she said. He's like, and we've always felt this with her. First choice, Sabrina and Walt. Like from day one, we're like feeling that. But she's like, keep it 100. He's talking about he gave her space, and she's talking about she's not hearing from him. And I believe that created a wedge of doubt. But she was like, don't rush because someone said the right thing at the right time. And it is so important because it's so easy for us as people to get caught up in what we want to hear. And that sounded cute. And she probably maybe even got a little flutter in her tummy. Like, it's so nice when somebody is just like on top of it and makes you feel good. But you can't be blinded by that. The words still need to match the actions. So I love that he was clear about, quote unquote, giving her space. But why are you giving me space if you want me? Like, so
Yes.
these things sound good and you be hitting those little moments.
It's a good excuse. It's a great excuse.
Let me
It's
see.
something that definitely validates the bad choice that you made. And I can see how that can be self-validating. Oh, this makes sense because this was easier for me to do this while I figured my own stuff out. I didn't like that.
And that's why she said she felt default, kind of like by default. Is this by default?
And it's also understandable that it could have been in reality. But for someone like Sabrina, like she said, you pull back, I'm going to reciprocate exactly what you do. I'm going to give you the energy that you give me.
Correct.
Because that's how it is. That's what a partnership
Correct.
is. And I wasn't really sold on his explanation of why he was doing that. And she obviously picked up on that too.
Correct.
I've fallen for it too many. Exactly. That's why we can say this.
Read it out loud.
I've fallen for it too many times. I'm not buying any dreams at this time in my life. Absolutely. Falling for it. Yes. It's the only way to be in tune with reality and actually move forward in life. And it's like, it's unfortunate because it sounds kind of like, oh, well, then does that mean I have to put my emotions in check and kind of halt what's happening? Not fully, but you do get to still embody and embrace the momentum that's happening, but you can take your time with it. You can put on some glasses to see it objectively and then take, like it needs to be massaged.
Like, let it breathe.
It has to breathe. And just like Sabrina said, you only can come to that awareness when you've been through it as a ton times and you actually start taking accountability for your own actions, for allowing yourself to be there.
I appreciate you for that because I needed to hear it. I am, dealing with a situation and healing a heartbreak because I let what is funny is, like I said, I did the self-work, then I found myself in this thing. And now that I'm out of this thing, I look back and I was like, ooh, Jaimi, you doing this, like, babe, that's not going to work. So I had to give myself the love and grace, but I'm seeing so much of this show up in the show. And with Sabrina, the stuff you're saying, I've fallen for it too many times. I want to just be easy and let it be this and that. And not to say that it can't, but there better be some awareness up in there or you're just playing the fool. Saying the right things at the right time. That's cute. Oh my God, boy, come here. I want to smell your neck. Yummy. But I'm going to go home and still have my head about mine.
Yeah.
Because I'll be playing a little bit.
Sabrina does the perfect job of balancing them out. She still stays present in the process.
Because
but she doesn't overindulge
herself
in the meal that's in front of her. She's still taking her time as she eats it, and she's still enjoying it. And that is a skill. That's a mastery. It's something that, I'm taking notes.
Constantly taking notes.
And it's nice because it's something that you're obviously aware of if you're having this conversation. So to see somebody else moving like that gives you the affirmation that you need to actually then partake in the same experience. And not feel guilty or wrong about it, and or then it's not enough. But you have a lot of emotional strength, Sabrina, to be able to still be present and not back off a little bit and pump the brakes, but still keep it on cruise control. And
just keep your eyes open. But I love the position. I love the posture that she holds because this is what I believe we're not learning when it comes to dating. I'm reading, of course, this book, All About Love by Bell Hooks. And, it kind of talks about our random and scattered definitions of love is kind of like why we are not in sync with each other in a certain kind of way. Like, it's not just feeling, it's not just this, it's not just that, but other people have all these ideas of what it is. But if we can get on the same page about the posture that's necessary to actually navigate the truth of the way humans function, I think we would just be a lot better off. And she handles that very well. I'm seeing it, and I'm probably not saying it as well as I'm seeing it. But yes, that's what it comes down to.
Yes.
You have to always love yourself more. This is a
Yeah.
self-love thing. When we
Yes.
stop letting other people treat us in ways where we don't like or we don't feel good,
You don't know your worth. Then you're not
you don't know your worth.
moving with
Yes.
who you are completely. You're still not acknowledging. You're not giving yourself enough respect and love. That's for sure.
So how
You
can
know,
you
it's
attract somebody that will? Or how can you even identify if you can't do it for
you
yourself?
can't. And you know, it's really hard for people that I know that have been married from a young age or been in relationships for a while. They haven't had to do, you know, Sabrina's like us. She told us she didn't date. She was dedicated to her daughter. But in that time, she cultivated herself and her awareness to be ready for love. And it's so evident in it. And it's so refreshing to see somebody else at our age, essentially. I mean, she's a few years older than me, of course, but like just partaking in the same journey, because it's far and few between in this world. You know, it's refreshing to see that. And then hold himself as such a great example while doing it. It gives you hope. You must know your own worth and trust the process, but be mindful of the things that don't align with your happiness.
Yo,
Yes, because
if
if it's not aligned with your happiness, how do you expect to make somebody else happy? Like that's the point where people
what are
get
you
really
doing it for?
confused.
It
What are you
doesn't
doing it
align.
for then? You know? Oh, this is
Then
getting,
you
is it
look
getting
at,
dark?
like-
Is it just my eyes starting to?
No, you still look good to me. Your light is still there, boo.
I can't see.
No, you're good. You don't look crazy. I don't see any shadow. No. Okay.
I can't see. Sorry, my eyes are starting to.
Oh, it just because you got the light and the darkness
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a great balance to know your worth, trust the process. That's another thing we don't learn to do really well. We want to control everything. We want to put our hands in everything. We get a glimpse of possibility and want to like hold this grip. And most of the time when you got a grip like this, when you open your hands, there's nothing in there. We're always under the illusion that we have so much control under this stuff, you know, and it
went right through your hands because you're squeezing so damn hard.
Listen, ain't nothing even in there. So it's just, you know, navigating away from the illusion that
we
have it all under control. It is hard
because you're gripping it so hard because you want it to be there and you don't want to like face the fact that it's not. But the sooner you can just start facing the reality of it, the sooner you'll actually get what you're looking for.
But I'm saying, girl, Sabrina, you might have to teach a class. Girl, I hope you do a lot of talking.
Yeah.
I hope you do a lot of talking after this because there's so many things.
I mean, you have a YouTube, I believe. So I'm sure that, I mean, what is your YouTube going to be? Can I ask you these questions? I don't know if it's like, I'm allowed to ask you like, what is your YouTube all about, Sabrina? So sorry, I'm doing it again because I can't see and I feel blind.
I like too how she told the story because I related to that about being 18 and 19, you know, going through tough things in school and then finding her confidence, her own way. Because I mean, I got stories too. We could swap offline, but it's just kind of like, yeah, it was that thing for me to gain the confidence. And like she said, she turned into what she believes to be and is a fabulous person through everything that she's been through. So I think she does such a great job of bringing in vulnerability, even though Walter keeps having these comments about, you look like a madam and red flag and gentleman's club. You were a dancer. We'll talk about that in a minute, but she's standing in it like, yeah.
That could also be production. That could also be,
I understand,
sound bites of what to add to the television component of it. It seems
but regardless,
that way.
she's still very
because
much
you can tell, you can see that like he likes everything about her, and that's the best part.
Yeah,
I'm in the same space as you are, Sabrina. I love every choice that I've made. Everything that's cultivated me to what some people might find wrong or ugly or gross
or messy.
I love every single choice that I've made. Every single choice I have made has made me into the man that I am, and I am a fucking great man.
You really are.
Because of all of that. And it takes, thank you. And I love myself for it. And if you keep trying to beat yourself like our parents beat themselves up all the time for the choices that they made, and I did this and I was so wrong, and you keep doing that, you're going to continually never love yourself. You're never going to be able to be happy with yourself, and you're never going to be able to seek happiness for what you really want and embody yourself in a situation that's going to bring that to you. And I guess, you know, learning from the generation before us, that's been helpful. but it's also was also trying, and it also provided a lot of resistance to me actually accepting and moving forward to everything that I am and how I've moved and being okay with that, because it was so different. Sabrina seems, and you can let us know or not, like you seem to be someone like myself or Jaimi who has been like, I don't really fit in anywhere, so I just gotta love myself. Yes, embrace all of it. The universe doesn't make mistakes. Yes. Your steps were not
made to
made
be perfect.
no. And everybody's trying to follow some other modality that believes that they're perfect and something else, some other higher power is taking care of their flaws and what they've done wrong. You're not really fulfilling the enlightenment of which these teachers that you're seeking to be like have.
The fullness of it,
The fullness
grace
of what life
the openness,
is.
the truth. If
It's
you don't go
embracing
anything,
the dark and the light. It's embodying all of it and accepting all of it. That's why you are here. That's why you're here.
like exactly, that's what you're here for. Like Sabrina be blessing me with the way that she moves. If she hadn't gone through the this, went through the that, broke up with it, like there's all of these things and steps and choices and happenings that have happened to bring you to this moment. And that's what we're here for. You know, we're here to serve. We're here to be an example. We're here to be the fullest version of self. So whatever that means to you, your stuff is going to resonate with who it resonates with. It's going to be what it's going to be. And that's it. There's no need to judge it, try to change it, shift it, stuff it down to the, I'm to my wit's end with some of that too. Like I've been having a lot of revelations about some things. And I'm like, you know what? I can see where I've been holding myself back because of certain, you know, beliefs and ideals of things that have nothing to do with the truth of who I am.
You
It's
are.
time to lay it
and
down.
what your journey consists of for you to be everything that you are. Period.
Yes. I would be remiss if I said I wanted to leave this planet without giving all of that. Like, come on, there's only
100%.
one me. What are we
But and you know what the
talking
best
about
part is too is that Sabrina is this divine, delicious example of it, and you see Walter devouring it. I don't care what his sound bites are, what he's supposed to say. I see that man is like, you're even more perfect for me than I thought. Like
He's balanced too. I like
he's
his
balanced
energy.
too. He sees that. He understands that, and it's really nice to see because, look, my man's gonna have to be very complex. He's gonna have to know about when he knows everything about me. He's gonna be like, "Damn, you crazy! Thank you." And I'm be like, "You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for being crazy too."
Yeah.
Thank you.
And for receiving that. And
Yes,
I think we talked about that.
Nobody is perfect.
Yeah. But what is perfect? What does that mean? Even our ideals of what perfect is, how could that be perfect if it's not real? It's just we got to get rid of it all. It just none of it is going to work. We can't be doing all that. We will align. We will all align on purpose, never by accident. Everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
You know, and I was thinking so much about that last night too. It's like everything happens for a reason, and we have a choice to in how we want to see that. Do we want to look at it like you were saying, Gus, some of the past generation of carrying shame and guilt about it, or do we want to see the bigger picture and allow any and everything that's happened to be a part of everything happening for the good? Like it's all perspective. I can't even believe I'm saying this because it used to get on my nerves. But if you learned, it's either you get a lesson from it, even if it doesn't feel good. It's in our pain that like the realness of who we are comes out and can resonate with whoever it's supposed to resonate with, even if it doesn't have to be on a platform or anything, but just it matters. It all happens for a reason. And depending on how you look at it, 9 times out of 10, it's for a good reason.
I feel like a lot of people they rather look back into the dark because it's comfortable, because when that light is shining so bright in your face, it's blinding. You can't see what's in front of you.
It's blinding.
You look back and you can still see everything. It's comfortable.
You can call it, you can name it, you can see it, you understand it, you can identify with it.
Instead of just walking into the light more, allowing the light to blind you so much that when you open your eyes again, you are in a new space, a space that is more beautiful than you could have ever imagined.
Yeah, I was watching this girl online and she was talking about this is a season where
the good,
a
bad,
lot of
and the ugly.
Yes, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Where we're kind of turned around and we're looking at the past, but the future is like tapping on our shoulder and it's time to turn around and be like, oh, future, You know what I'm saying? Because it is blinding, it is light, and it's the unknown. And majority of us are not comfortable in the unknown. We don't even know what it means to walk in that because we're so used to having so much control.
I don't know about you, Sabrina, but the ugly to me has been the most beneficial and beautiful in my
The
life.
most beneficial. Come on. The most beneficial, which is crazy.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much.
But you must still manifest in the process. Yeah, that just requires a presence and a surrender that because we were taught so differently in this world, in this country, and all this with the way we do things so linear, you know, having trust and surrender is something that I think we're learning and growing into. And I just love that we're having these conversations. You know, you can go on the internet and see so many people finding a new way to function because it's time. No more. Yes. We're living.
I was just going to say 100 at the same time. Sabrina said 100.
So I love it. I mean, I do like that even Walt brought flowers. I do believe that Walt, I'm watching Breaking Bad again. I'm like, Walter Walter is you know, he's being, you know, I think he's being the best gentleman he can. There's parts of me who can't figure him out. I don't know if I feel 100% he's for Sabrina, but I think when you're dating, this is as close as it gets to like, let me stay here for a while and walk this path because I'm enjoying it.
I'm with you as well. I can't figure it out. I can't figure out if the energy is saying to me it's not going to happen or it's going to work. Like there's no medium, there's no middle for me. It's either right or left, and I look forward to finding out that is. This world can be so cruel. Yes, it can, but if you keep giving power to the word cruel and allowing that to be a negative connotation that sets you off from your happiness, you're just falling victim like everybody else is to a simple reality of which we are living in. If you can reformat the perspective of what cruel means to you, or you can call it beneficial, the world can be so beneficial sometimes. And it doesn't feel
and you're
good.
Equipped for it.
And you're equipped for it.
Yeah. I completely agree. And I love this, Sabrina. This is what I was looking for. After being in a domestic violence situation, I became an author. Yeah, you need to speak. You need to share because you are definitely the embodiment of what I feel, men and women. I think women, obviously, because you are a woman, I think women will take to you in a particular way when it comes to how to function in dating situations. You will be able to bless people with your story. And for men to watch and be like, wow, let me look for these qualities in a woman and help my woman navigate or choose better when it comes to what type of woman I want to date and things like that. We're in this together. So, and even, you know, man, woman, man and woman, whatever it is, something to where we can learn and understand how to walk this thing out in a healthy way.
The world is here to bring lessons as well. Absolutely.
This is it.
That's why it is cruel. That's why it's beautiful. That's why it's all of it. Sabrina, so you're an author. Have you, do you have any books out right now that we're not aware of?
If you can share.
If you can share. And the title.
Because, girl, after all of this is over, we're going to have you on the show. We got to talk.
We got to talk. I want to know all of it.
Oh, man. No, I love it.
Because I would absolutely love to read her book.
Yeah, so she does have that going. I'm gonna read your book in one of your outfits that you've been posting online. So I can be cute and educated.
Sabrina are delicious. They're so good.
Ooh.
See No Evil.
Come on, title.
By Sabrina Soul.
All right, y'all. Sabrina's book.
See No Evil.
Yeah. Good. After being in a domestic violence situation, you wrote a book. I love that. I mean, the sharing is so necessary. Yes. Yay!
Oh, that'll be so much fun.
We love you, so girl. You give us so much to talk about because
you feel like tribe. You know, you just feel like a kindred soul, kindred spirit, and another city in this world. It's such a blessing. Thank you for putting yourself out there for us to watch this experience with you.
Yeah, and for just being such an amazing example.
Oh, nice! Another collaboration. Oh, that's powerful. That's especially when it comes to something like domestic violence. To have a collective speaking on it is just not that it's not as powerful with a single individual, but when there's a collective on domestic violence, that is it's your eyes are forced open, you know, in the best way possible.
Girl, that's what I said.
It took everything inside of me not to eat some this morning because I was like, I can't. I have to be shirtless for a
You should have
self-tape
did it.
tomorrow.
No, do it.
I know.
Eat the cookies,
It
damn it.
looks so good. I might end
Gus
up
made
having some.
cookies. I made dinner. Gus made cookies. He's the dessert master. I gotta still
And
master my cookies.
she mastered that salmon pasta. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Garlic
both
butter
ready
pasta
though.
with
That's the
yeah, we're
thing.
ready.
We do this because we're just basically telling the universe we're ready. Where
We're
is
ready
our
to
man?
love.
Where is our man? I want to cook for him. I want to bake for him. I want to love upon him. I want him to sit next to me in the booth too, Sabrina, so I can smell how
Okay, I
delicious
want
he
to smell his
smells.
neck.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, and I love that you take the time to tune in.
Yeah.
Nothing happens by accident. So here
Nope.
for it.
Absolutely.
I
don't
it.
usually do these things. Jaimi and I have been friends since high school. This is what she does. I don't usually partake in these things, but we both couldn't resist being like, let's do it. We already talk about it every day. And It's been so much fun, and it's been a new experience that's just been really delightful. Especially having you on it with us. It's even more affirmation of like, this is the right thing to do at this moment with this. Plus, we both just want to look so bad.
There we go. Gussie's make me cookies one. Okay, B, shoot your shot.
Don't make me start a business. All right, B.
Gus's Bakery.
G's goodies.
I bet you want the goodies.
Bet you thought of Okay, I'm gonna stop because I haven't calories.
Yeah, here we go. So yes, I love that. So thick, so juicy. We like to throw in some personal and some chit chat into this because that is absolutely the point.
Yes. What else?
Who do we have here?
Oh, should we go to Zadia's date?
Well,
this is just
we
the
have
beginning.
Lumen
You both
and
are
Frank
amazing.
before there.
Think bigger. Thank you. Yeah.
Can we just talk about that? Because right now, this is the book I'm reading, and this is where I'm at, girl. Believe bigger.
I love that.
Okay? Because this is what's happening right now. Your girl is paying attention.
Absolutely.
You are 1,000% correct. Think bigger.
Yeah, we tell each other that every day.
Now I'm starting to understand what that means for me and what the hindrance of that was before. And the majority of it is believing
that you're worthy.
Well, yes, believing that you're worthy, but getting past those beliefs of, well, for me, who you thought you needed to be.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
100%.
you can't see it when you're in the doingness of it because you were taught and you navigate a particular way and it just feels natural. But then you look at what really is and you're like, oh no, that's a little performative. That's a little boxy. Is that really you? I'm in my desert. 2021 is my desert season. This is very different. Okay. People who know me know I'm like miss out in the streets a lot. I haven't been anywhere. So I've had time to reflect, honey. This is serious. This is serious business.
Wow. You just got chills.
I see it. I believe, girl, come on.
Yeah,
now.
we've been feeling the same vibes too. It's just, it's same with you. It's like, you can feel things. Jaimi and I talk about it a lot. We're at that point of surrender because there's nothing better than that. The cultivation that we've created through life and the pockets that we've had our hands in and the tools that we put on around our belt and that we've been sharpening, those will all apply to exactly where we're supposed to be. So we are in that place of just boom and bring it, calling it, bringing it without the ideal of what that's supposed to look like and just being present for what it's going to be.
And even the surrender, I'm learning every day but like, girl, you still driving with your knee. Take your hands off the wheel. You still trying to drive the car with you just have to learn like what it is the heck you're doing and like embrace the true meaning of surrender. You have to focus on the bigger end results. Something you wouldn't even think outside the box. I love that.
Yes,
I'm here for
absolutely.
I know
personally, I have never thought small in my life. I have had the goals and ambitions to conquer the world since I can remember having thoughts.
Yeah.
And now because that awareness was already inside of me and I've dedicated my life to what that will look like one day, now I can let go of the oars. Now I can just be in going down the river in my canoe and just being like, it's taking me to bigger than I could have imagined, even though I thought so big. And whatever that looks like.
Mm-hmm. I'm right with you. I'm right there with you. I've always been, when I was 7 years old and you fill out those little paperworks, it's like, it was I wish I could, and they leave it blank. Receipts. And I put,
You have a receipt for this.
Yeah. And when I was 7 years old, I wish I could blank, blank, blank. I put be boss of the universe.
She sure did.
Not the world, not the school, like the universe, the boss of it though.
Nobody was talking about the universe back then.
I was 7.
I know, it's amazing.
So, wow, hasn't life just taken us through this journey that's going to allow us to actually embody the fullness of that in ways we didn't expect?
And unless you go through what you go through long, you can't even imagine what bigger is. And you actually recognize like the cultivation process takes this long because it's actually preparing you for bigger.
Because let's be honest,
and that's hard to come to terms with.
Yes. Yep. We think we're thinking big, but we're still thinking in a big box sometimes.
Yep. 100%.
So, well, we just preached. We just had church.
I don't even know where we're going.
Past the collection place. No,
I'm still blind. I haven't been able to see you for the last 45 minutes with this light and darkness happening on my left.
Oh my goodness. Well, you look fine.
I'm just going to be like this all the
time. The lighting's still good. I can tell it's dark back there though.
I can't see shit.
Maybe do you need to turn your light down?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Ooh. Because I can't. You tell me because I won't be able to see.
Oh, that looks great.
Warm. Okay.
Is that better? Yeah, you're warm. Hello. You're in the game, boo. Okay. We can go by this date really quick if we want.
Which one?
First of all, Mumin, I have to just commend her for taking a walk in heels. Why are you laughing, Gus?
I'm just ready for what's coming. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, as much as I love her, I think, actually this conversation we just had might have been, very, very beneficial for her to tune into. We have discussed her at this point being just maybe a little bit delusional about what's going to be happening for her, but I do think she's playing the game really well. What are your thoughts about her and Frank?
Can you give me yours and I'm going to disappear for 30 seconds?
Okay, yes. So she made it really cool, really clear that she's moving on from Walter. And I think that that's a good idea. I think with everything Sabrina and Walter had going on and the very awkward interaction with the piano room and all of that when they were on vacation was very telling for her. And Walter was turned off too, by the way she had an opportunity when she was sitting with him by the pool to just be cool, be chill, take her time, have her moment. But she was still very pressed, which I understand when emotions are involved. It is challenging. But it kind of put a wedge between them. And I can feel it in her sass a little bit. Like she's just like, I'm focusing on Frank. I know Frank is going to, he's doing this and his whatever is bringing him to me. And, Walter this, Walter that. I could feel the sass. I could feel the bite from Mumin and the, Walter situation not working out.
Rightfully so. She was excited about something and she didn't have her way. Yeah. We've all been there. It sucks. But it's one of those examples where you realize like you were trying to convince yourself of something else and telling yourself another story. I say that with love because there is nothing about the way that Sabrina acts with Walter that she is controlling him and manipulating him. She's actually giving Walter the space to do and be what he wants to do and be.
I think that is the way you need to move.
Opposed to Mumin, who seems like she's trying to control the situation. And if Walter were young like Corny, he would probably abide to what Mumin wants like he does with Camille. But Walter's a grown-ass man, and he's recognizing that. Thank God. I mean, we know that he kind of like strayed for a second, thinking like, oh, she's so young. I get it. He was like, she's young, and it's fun and different. But like, come on, Walt.
Let's be real.
You need someone grown.
Who you can learn from.
Who you can learn from, who's communicating with you accordingly and correctly, and you're listening to and she's listening to you, and you hear each other. Mumin didn't hear you. She's still, from what I've seen so far on the show, doesn't hear you, doesn't speak your language. And it's concerning to me that she keeps jumping from one to the next because it didn't work out, and then like throwing herself in. She's like, all of a sudden, he didn't work. Well, now Frank's mine, and it's like, you didn't. It's not a song. You're an artist. I get it.
This is
I
the
get
next
it.
track.
It's not The Boy's Mine version 2 solo of Mumin. Like, that's not how it's going to work. It's not the reality of it. And as artists, I'm giving you the pass that I give myself, because I can live in that fairy tale land all the time, being like,
right.
well, instead of being the artist that also steps into, I like to know that I create my own reality, first of all, but also being in tune with the reality that is being created, as opposed to being
in tune.
In a disillusionment of, like, yes, being delusional of the circumstances. I mean, I've done that many times because
I have too. That's why I can see it.
And it's been great because I've written some really great songs about it, and I've been able to dive into characters really deeply because of that. But you need to learn how to place that into its category of work. That's the fine line that happens for us artists, is that, yes, we need the experiences to be greater at our craft. There's no doubt about that. But if you cannot place them in separate categories in how you're living your life, it will cause more harm to you than you want. And that's what it seems like it's doing for her, because she's just jumping like Frank's mine. It's like, so once again, you're not acknowledging this deep connection that he has, that he's been cultivating with another woman. And just like you did with Sabrina and Walter, it's like, I think she'll watch this and she'll see it because she's an artist, and she's going to be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's a little misplaced, a little bit misplaced. And I can't knock her. I see how she's staying in the game, but it's a little hard to watch her hang by a thread over here and hang by a thread over there.
And you know what? For TV purposes, she's doing it perfectly. So if this is all for TV purposes, she's doing it great. She's hopscopping, she's double dutching, hopscotch, skitch-scotch, whatever the fuck it's called, all over the place, and like giving us something good to watch, because she's, jumping from situation to make this whole experience feel a little more inventive. So I don't know if it's, authentic or if it's for show. Either way,
she always looks beautiful when she shows up. I was just gonna say that.
She looked, I don't know what part of you're on, but when she showed up for that thing with Walter, she looked incredible.
Yeah, it was.
She was like gorgeous.
She was like, we might not like each other, but you gonna go home knowing I'm fine.
Speaking of, I have to go back to Sabrina and Walter for a second, because I thought it was so cute how they always do end up just like matching. Like they are just connected. They are connected, and like, it's just, anyways, I just thought about that when I saw them. Yeah, and then they were in all black, but
and he recognizes that and spoke on it. So I like that too. Like he sees it too.
Yeah.
I love that. What I could appreciate with Frank, though, I wanted to share is I like how he didn't do what Phil did and leave Mumin guessing and try to paint a picture or story for her or throw her off with the kiss. He was like, I'm feeling you. But he gave the butt. Give me the butt. It's okay.
I would have expected the opposite. I would have expected Frank to do what Phil did and Phil to do what Frank did. And that was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting
Frank
that.
was forthright, and I'm so relieved.
Yes, he really was. But, Frank has to be in his daily life. Like, think about it. He has to do customer service. So he actually has to take accountability when he does something wrong and make sure that the client is still satisfied and comes back and is happy. So he's in tune with that business sense of how to move with people. I don't know what Phil does. I'm sure he's capable of it as well. But my point is I just have this feeling that Frank is just really fucking great at his job. It reads all over him.
But that's amazing too, because a lot of the times guys cannot, in my opinion, move the way in business with their big business acumen and take those same standards and values to their dating life. Because a lot of dudes will be really happy to lie in their dating life or not want to put in effort. But at the job, they're going to show up. They're going to tell the truth. They're going to do what they need to do and all of these things because they see it differently. So I like how you're making the connection that Frank being in hospitality, understanding people and putting that on the table is, important for in life.
Look,
not just
hospitality,
dating, not
me
just work.
being in hospitality taught me a lot about life as a person, for my career. Just it taught me all that stuff. I hate it. I can't
It's too much
stand
work.
it.
I'd be like, oh my
I
God.
don't have the energy to make somebody else happy all day anymore. I did that
I
for my
don't
life with
either. I
everybody
did
around
that
me for a
before.
long time. Ain't nobody
Right.
got time for that shit anymore. But some people are made for that. They can do it for long-term effects. It was humbling. It was everything I needed
I
it to
liked
be.
it.
And
Because
it was
that
just,
builds trust too. When you tell somebody the truth and you're actually forthright about what you're doing, even if it's something that you don't think that they want to hear, and you say it anyway, that's something I can trust. Because even if you circle back and do end up choosing me, at least I know I'm going to get the truth from you. So for me, regardless of Frank, I don't know what kind of, whatever he got going on, I appreciated that. And I also
Yep.
liked how he was mindful with the golf. He had to save that from pretty early on. So I thought that was sweet. It's something that, anybody in relationship would want. And I think that
I
really
don't buy it.
surprised her.
I think he's capable of that shit, but I think that was production. I'm just going to call it. I think
Okay.
Frank is that thoughtful, but I feel like that was production. Like,
They were like, ooh, why don't you do this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just going to call it production because we can, and it's fun. If we're going to call the people out, we're going to call it production too. This is our show. We do what the fuck we want. I just think it was. I could be completely wrong. I'll take accountability
I
for being
feel
wrong.
you.
I like being wrong.
If they could have planted that. I don't know, Frank. Maybe we're gonna have to ask him one day. Like,
I think
is that contrived?
I would love to. I do think he's capable and that thoughtful. Don't get me wrong. I just intuitively just think that was production.
Okay. I mean, see, look at me. I buy the dreams being sold. We don't know, but I'm just like, Frank is sweet and mindful. And
Sabrina just told you not to buy the dreams. She just told you. Don't buy that shit.
I need help.
Don't buy that shit.
One day at a time.
Let it sell itself to you. Sell it. No, I ain't buying that shit.
I have a lot to learn. Okay, I'm hearing, but it's gonna take a minute to integrate. Oh my God, we have questions. I know. Somebody help me. I tell Gus all the time, like, next guy that I meet, I'm gonna have to run him through you because I just be like, oh my God, he's amazing. And it's like, girl, that is dress on a pig.
Yeah, he's not. No.
Lord help me. Literally. But when we talk about needing the Lord's help, we could talk about Dante and Zadia because my goodness. Oh. Dante, are you all right?
Are you okay, Dante? You handled that so.
Because if he was a different type of man, it might have been.
If he didn't meditate like he does,
it might have been
meditation kept him right. When you meditate, you don't overreact because you are in tune already. You're like centered, you're grounded. So when that shit's happening, you're observing like we should be. You're observing.
Yeah, he didn't take on her energy.
He wasn't reacting to her shit.
No,
that was all her.
Risotto.
That was all her shit. And it's the shit that I knew she was going to bring since the day I first saw her on this show. I felt that shit.
You knew.
And you know what? In my youth, I smelled people like her all the time and I still gave them the benefit of the doubt. We ain't friends no more. And now when I get older, I just trust myself and my discernment that I've cultivated all these years. I smelled it on her.
You kept telling me, like, and I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. It's like I could see certain things and the strong and this and that, but people put on their representative. But this is why True Colors is happening right now. This is the True Colors episode, and we're seeing what has always been there.
We're human. I've been her. I've done the same shit. That's how I can talk about it. That's how I can have a feeling towards it. That is my own to feel. What happened? Something popped up.
Oh, I put that. Sabrina's gonna tag me in something, so I'm like, please do. Will Reed, Dun and Son.
Yes.
Yeah. No, and it's really unfortunate because I can see. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, when she walked up on him, she didn't give him no love, and I'm thinking, regardless of what happened, if this is a man you are interested in, give that man love. Take a deep breath before you just dive into whooping his tail.
Which is hard. That's hard.
It's hard.
That's hard. That's easier said than done.
Hard?
To be the place. Yes, that is. Because she has been fully rejected at this point. If it wasn't for this show, she wouldn't be there. She would not be facing that shit.
No, she wouldn't.
Jaimi, don't fall for it.
Help!
Exactly. Thank you, Sabrina. I won't be the only one telling her this anymore, it sounds like. Thank you.
Like, I'm going to literally meditate on that when we get out of here. Like, Lord, just please.
Yes.
Something because I just be so tricked.
Zadia would not have gone to that place if it wasn't for the show. And so that
you don't think what do you mean?
She's not equipped to handle that type of energy. She would have maybe had a phone conversation, but I think the type of person Zadi is, she just would have cut his ass out because she already knew it was done and she was pissed. There was nothing she could say.
She was pissed.
She knows that he's already chosen somebody else. She's not naive, to that aspect, to her own actions. She still might be a little lacking in the discernment part of how she's moving, and that's okay. We all do it. When I was 28, I had the same, I don't think I touched him like she did, but I was going off on some man. And that's when I had my first.
Not going off on some man.
I mean, I learned it from my mom, right? I didn't know any different. The realizations you have when you're like, oh, that's not me. That's what I learned. Yeah, that just blows your mind, right? Sabrina, I'm sure you know that a lot about that too, because you're of the same awareness. And not that I know anything specifically, as some people would be like, what? Does he know? No, I'm just saying, like, usually when people like us and Sabrina have these conversations, it's because we've faced that type of situation to understand more. And yeah, I had an out-of-body experience and it changed my fucking life. That's when I went in and went spiritual and everything. Like, was like, who are you? Who are you? So, and that changed me forever in the best way. I hope that happens for Zadia, because to be fair,
this is bad.
I do think what you see in her and you have from the beginning, like you've liked her. Yeah, she's absolutely capable of all of that, right? But she's still operating from that lower level self. Of being broken.
Because she a lot of the thing they were saying on the show was like, well, you were more about Nye, and he was like, I was trying to knock on the door and court you, and you weren't there and you weren't available, and all of these things. But she had a lot of digs. She said, you're so stupid. She said Aisha is dumb and dense. And then she was like, I don't know what he was talking about in that low voice and that whisper that nobody can hear. Like, girl, you big mad. You was big mad, always boo. Mad. You big mad, dog.
She's always mad.
Why you so mad for her?
She's angry because she's angry. She's an angry person.
Mad. You big mad.
Shut the fuck up, big mad with a sorrow face.
You big mad. You calling people names and
you big mad.
Why for, girl?
Do we need to talk?
She needs a hug. Like,
she does need a hug, but the thing
that's
is,
harsh. I get she was angry. I get it, but like,
I don't know if she would let you hug her though.
No, she barely even hugged Nye in the beginning or when it was time to do the deliberation. Like, I'm not getting no warmth. I don't want to like rest in her bosom. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to like take her in. I can't.
The black girl mean squires, they're all like that.
I don't think Mumin is.
I do think Mumin is like that. From at least the way that she's been acting toward Walter. Do you see how she acted towards Walter? I mean, maybe Sabrina can do a little just a little eyebrow raise if she agrees with me. Like from how I watch Mumin move, she moves in the same vibration as Camille and Zadia do. I don't think she's
like
a 1 or 2, and I'm not talking shit. I'm just trying to place in
hierarchies.
Yeah, like she's probably you're right. She's maybe a little more elevated when it comes to that than them. But I think she's still in that space where she feels validated being around that type of energy. And if she feels validated, she can't move past it to be who we know she is as well. Does that make sense?
I understand. Like, yeah, because if you're putting yourself around people who won't challenge you to change what you're doing, they'll just condone that behavior that's not really working.
Supporting the
because
other
I wouldn't have wanted to be specific. I wouldn't want to have, even if I like the girls, just because of what I'm seeing, I don't feel like I would have wanted to be looped in or aligned, because it's like walk like a duck, talk like a duck, hang with ducks, choose a duck, and I don't want to be a duck. I'd rather
never
be a different
aligned
kind of bird.
With those black magic mean girl squires, whatever their names are.
Right.
No, because
I understand.
Their vibe was off, and especially in this experiment and this experience of this show, moving in that type of frequency isn't going to take me up to the top to find love.
Mm-hmm.
That's some hurt. That's operating from a hurt place still.
Yeah, very hurtful. And
they don't love themselves enough yet.
Hmm?
They don't love themselves enough yet.
And I understand what it takes to learn what that means. I think one thing that I can understand about Zadia is
on the show.
And I don't know if on the show.
We're in a different timeline in the show. I'm just saying from what I'm witnessing on the show. is why I say that. I don't know them personally. I don't follow any of them. So just, I'm not trying to be a mean girl. Just saying.
Yeah, well, what I can see when it comes to her in this space and what I think really triggered her, and I can't tell, so you can tell me what you think, but okay, I think that I'm on both sides of the fence here. I think that Dante, when he knew he was leaning towards Aisha, he said something, because prior to, him and Aisha had majority of phone conversations. This house situation was a new opportunity for him to get to know her in person. So I feel like because Zadia was the number one up until that time, he was forthright about how he was feeling when his feelings shifted. However, I can see how what really set her off and pissed her off was the fact that she got blindsided in deliberations when some other girls sitting over there like, I got this and this and this and this, and he did this and this and this. I would have been like, oh my God, you rubbed on her, you did dinner, you did this. Like, I know that set her off. Like, you didn't even give me a heads up. Like, you didn't even tell me you up here. So I know that when your emotions are involved, that's like, you ready to, So I feel like that's what set it off. Her face was not happy last episode when that happened. She was upset. And then he didn't talk to her for 3 days?
I think it's hard for me to I hear you. I feel...
It doesn't justify. I'm just
No, but I understand. And I'm like, that's hard.
That's hard.
But you keep reacting like this. You keep putting yourself in this position to fail.
And that energy that she put towards being mean to Dante could have been used to get closer to Nye.
I noticed this from the jump about her too, is that one thing that when you're trying to be that person that is sarcastic and sly and talk shit to get your man, I used to think that was cute too when I was young. And I used to think, if I can throw, you catch, you can throw it back me. That's cute. That's fun. When you get older, you realize that shit is actually not coming from a good place, and that's just not healthy. That's not healthy. And if a man wants that type of what's the word? Sorry, I'm tired.
I don't know that not catty, but
no,
what do you I know what you're saying.
If that type of communication where it's just constantly catty, if that's setting somebody to feel sexy and turned on by that constant friction, there's always truth in sarcasm is what I'm trying to say in short. So that right there showed me too, no. And how are you going to find something through and deep with that? I mean, look at the ones we're talking about. They're cute and they have a cute little fun banter, but it's not like, you know what?
Yeah.
I mean, well, Camille's like that, and obviously, that to each their own. I guess for some people it works,
right?
When you're in denial about who you are, but yeah.
No, I mean, I definitely see what you're saying. It's an energetic thing, and what I do know that even if quote unquote men are not known for having all this intuition that they do, and you can feel when energy is off, in that spiritual realm where something about this girl is not working. It's not whatever. That's why he shifted. And she made it easy. So, I don't like how in deliberation she was talking to Phil and was like, I gave him black mama, No, and let's kill that stigma right now, because first of all, every black mama ain't like that. I'm not a mama yet, but I'm not finna treat my kids and no. You didn't give them black mama nothing. I don't like it.
No, and as you might notice by now, that didn't work really well for you acting like that. And that's not going to work well for a mama either.
No. Sorry. So let's not do that. I don't like that. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I know she feels abandoned, and
she rightfully does. I mean, that's heartbreaking. She was hurt.
That's a lot. But yeah, by somebody she was super annoyed by too. It was like, you just gonna rub down my energy?
That's the part that's really hard for me.
That's hard.
The part that's really hard for me is that she be all about somebody, but has the quickest turnaround to talking such deep shit about them. How could I ever trust you? How could I ever think that you're really invested in this emotional intimacy that we're building? How? If you feel like this, because you feel some other way, obviously. So why are we playing this game?
Right.
Because it's funny and sarcastic to be like that? No, it's not.
No,
it's not. And that whole, even just in general, I feel like it's just so, look, I'm not all about the sexuality and masculine and feminine and women and all them were just an illusion anyway. So it's like, oh, I'm meant to be like dissolved. I mean, that works for you, great, but that's not how I operate. That doesn't make sense to me. But in some place, all the time, and in some places it does and it doesn't. But for instance, like the whole men aren't as intuitive as women. The best psychics I've been to,
Yeah, no, that's not
men.
true. Yeah, that's not true. Right.
Why is it that some men then aren't being nurtured to actually experience the intuition that lives inside of them as well?
Oh, sweetie,
where do they
a whole
find
nother
that being
conversation.
weak or feminine or wrong and unmanly? Like that's what I think the issue is with when it comes to being like placing something on somebody. That's where I believe the illusionment takes place.
100%. But let's bring that on Front Street though, because when the men talked at that beautiful place, that whiskey bar that I want to go to. So Tommy, let me get an invite to the Watergate. That looked good. I want to sip whiskey in the Watergate and sit and chat. Because that place looked amazing. But in that room, it was very clear. You could see it in every man's face when I was like, no, she's fine. She don't treat me like that. That every guy was like, bruh.
I would have done this.
Every dude was like,
and that's
what did you just say?
Makes sense because everybody that's been close to Nye has been like, he's in denial. And look, I know you wrote something to Jaimi about it, and I
about
get that.
Moving in integrity,
which you do,
yes,
which you do. But you can also move in integrity and also be ignorant in the process to what's really happening outside, because that's what it looks like when I watch that. Because
she gonna treat him the same way. There's going to be a moment
you're gonna put up with it, and you're gonna think it's okay, and nobody around you is gonna be okay with that, and you're gonna be in like your family's not gonna like it, your friends aren't gonna like it. Like it's not a healthy you and her against the world. Where's the harmony? It's not gonna be harmonious. It's gonna be ugly.
That's going to be too much work. And I think that's what Nye's ex-girlfriend was saying.
Yes,
she was like, I don't see that she's going to be able to give you the emotional capacity that it is you're going to need to and
it's just really hard to understand how he has such a great sense of style but does not have a great sense of understanding when it comes to like.
Did she say that?
No, I'm saying that right now.
Oh, okay. I was like, ooh.
I am. Like when he came in with that purple, like delicious thing that he came into the whiskey tasting.
That was really amazing. It was very regal.
That's what I mean. He has a very regal sense of,
like he is. Yeah. That was.
How do you not recognize when you're not dealing with the royalty of a queen? She ain't acting like a queen, bro. Stop being. She's Cersei Lannister, bro. She's Cersei. She's acting crazy. She's trying to behead bitches. What you doing? You too smart. You too smart for that. Way too smart.
Yikes.
All right, I got to wrap it up in like a couple minutes.
Oh, well, the last thing we didn't talk about Sydney and Phil's date, but we kind of did. So one thing I wanted to say about Phil is I totally, I feel for him when he brought up that thing about his mom. That is a really tough thing. I do not have children yet. And sometimes I get nervous and wonder if I'm going to be able to give my parents a grandchild. Like I get nervous. Time just keeps going by. And, I really hate that. I love that he acknowledged that reality of being his mother's best friend and her passing away before he was able to give grandchildren is something that shapes him. It shapes who he is. It's something he's navigating through. And I just, I don't know. I kind of felt bad in that's tough because you can't turn back time. You can't bring your mother back. And I'm hoping that he finds a way to, honor her in some way when he does have children, or I don't know how it's going to work out, but I hope he gets healing and resolve in that space. Because that's really, really tough. We'll wait till Gus gets back in. So I don't know. How did you guys feel about that reality that Phil was facing when he was being vulnerable with Sydney and kind of shared that, he wasn't able to give his mom grandchildren before she passed? That is, my heart just goes out, like seriously. He also mentioned in that date that he was having bumps in the road when it comes to Shiloh. And I'm kind of hoping as these episodes unfold that we kind of get to learn what that is. Because obviously there's so much that we're not seeing, right? Like, there's behind the scenes, there's other dates, there's phone conversations. So I'm just curious about like what those bumps in the roads were. And yeah, we talked about it earlier in the show, but he sure did put extra sauce on that affection when it came to Sydney. And that really, we talked about it at the top of the show. If y'all did not see that, you must go to the top of the show because we kind of went in on Phil. Let's see. Okay. So Gus's phone isn't working right now. That's okay. We're wrapping it up. It's been quite the episode as is. I don't even have no lipstick on no more. B, I am not able to have kids due to my disability, but if I could have kids, I totally would 100%. Yeah, you know, we've faced these realities that are really tough. And because again, some of these things are irreversible or, you know, it's hard to navigate. It's just, it does shape who you are. It shapes how you interact with people, you know. And hopefully, you know, you find a way to still fulfill that in a way that you want to, where you're still getting resolve and healing and growth from that. It's just tough. So my heart just goes out. You know what I'm saying? My phone stopped working. It's okay, boo. I'm gonna wrap it up. I know you had to go anyway. So I had some more notes here. Blah blah blah. It was just deliberation. Yeah, we know who went home. I think it was rightfully so. How do you guys feel? How did you guys feel about Zadia's behavior and her being the one to go home? I thought it was fitting. Unfortunately, Nye decided to remove himself from the situation, which made sense. He kind of pulled the Camille, just like Cornelius left. So Camille was like out. Nye said Zadia was his strongest connection. So he was like, I'm out. What am I doing here? I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if Nye put a little effort towards Mumin. But Mumin is really hung up on Frank right now. But I kind of wouldn't have been mad at that now that I'm thinking about it. But who knows what goes on behind the scenes. Maybe he's really not feeling her. But the trailer for next week is looking like something. And Lord, I am so curious to see what Shiloh and Phil talk about when they sitting there with Tommy and she's talking about how she's triggered and in her date she feels emotionally used and stuff like that. I don't want to put words in anybody's, but I want to learn. I want to know. Because Phil triggered me in this. You guys got to watch the top of the show. We talked all about it. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts. Follow the show. After every episode of Ready to Love, Gus and I are going to come and talk about it because it's worth it. We're learning, we're growing, we're sharing personal experiences. We're breaking down these characters, situations, and talking about what we see. Again, like we always say in the show, we absolutely honor everybody that's a part of this show. Obviously, it's on TV, so it gives us something to talk about, but the emotional capacity you have to push forward in this thing is astounding. To be honest, I don't know if I could do it, but if I was trying to get out of my comfort zone, I would sign up for Ready to Love right now. I don't know, because y'all are going, that's a lot. You're going through it. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. Thanks for everyone who's tuned in now. Make sure to tune in next week. Retweet us, tweet us, leave comments, share with a friend. And this next episode, boy, is going to be a good one. You guys are the best. And until next time. Peace.